We're Helen and Tim Travel, full-time travelers that quit our jobs in January 2023 to see the world one mountain at a time. We just wrapped up 10 days camper vanning around Norway, country number 8 in our full-time travel journey. Now we're excited to show you around the dreamy archipelago in northern Norway. We spend 4 days exploring Lofoten Norway, the land of the midnight sun. We take you to where the mountains meet the sea, so come explore the Arctic Circle with us while we hike, kayak, surf, and chase the northern lights. We show you why Lofoten Norway is worth the visit. Located in the northwest coast of Norway, Lofoten is an archipelago that consists of 7 main islands that sits at the 68th and 69 parallels north of the Arctic Circle. From Oslo, the capital city of Norway, we took a combination of transportation, 1 train, a flight, ferry, and a bus to get to Lofoten. It can take around 4 to 8 hours of travel time. Tomorrow we're going to take a ferry.
Bus to a ferry.
So we are in the town of Bodø, the little fishing village.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. Just hanging out at our little hostel, and we're excited because Lofoten's been on our list for far too long. Finally tried Grandiosa Pizza, one of the #1 selling frozen pizzas in all of Norway. Norwegians apparently consume a ton of pizzas. And we got salad. Bon appetit.
This morning we have boarded a ferry here in Bodø, Norway, and we are taking, it's gonna be like 3 hours and 15 minutes to get to Lofoten. This is technically a car ferry, but we just walked on with our bags. We think it might be free. They haven't come around to get us tickets. There's no place to like buy tickets yet, so still gonna figure that out. We're just gonna chill out in these seats for the next 3 hours and 15 minutes and then get to Lofoten. You can sit either inside or outside on the ferry. There's several different areas that you can kind of relax, and they even have tables near the cafeteria, so they do serve food and drinks for lunch because it will be lunchtime by the time we get there, so hopefully we'll get a quick bite to eat here.
We originally thought about taking the train down from Oslo to Bodø and then catching the ferry. We knew that we were only going to be there for 4 days, so we wanted to maximize on time. We opted to go half and half. We did redeem airline miles to catch a flight from Oslo to Bodø, which saved us quite a bit of money. And I'll definitely put in the text here on how many airline miles we used to get there. So we are staying here in Planet Lofoten, and one of the first things that Tim and I always do is we get settled into our hotel room, and then we go for a grocery run, especially if we stay somewhere for 3 to 4 days or longer. We always make sure to get groceries.
Being on the coast of Norway, look for some fresh seafood. We got some local shrimp and salmon. I think we're gonna make like a salmon salad. Some Norwegian chips. Helen's junk food haul.
These are good. These are so good.
She goes for junk food. I go for beer. Well, Helen gets her snacks, but I get my beer. So I've got one from Oslo and another one from Lofoten. So I'm really excited to give these a try.
A part of Norway actually sits in the Arctic Circle, and you can often hear locals say it's the land of the midnight sun. From May to late July, the sun actually never sets, which means for around 70 or more days, the sun never goes down. Today we are going to be taking you on a Norwegian surf adventure. Now we do a lot of hiking, but we always try to change up our days by doing something a little bit different. We're going to go surfing in the Arctic Circle. I don't know if Tim will be going in. He's still undecided. Hopefully there's some waves. It's supposed to be really flat, about 1 to 2 feet. It's about the end of August, so it's kind of going into off season here in the Lofoten area. Of course the waves are going to be good after I leave, so we'll see how it goes, and we are going to Lofoten Beach Camp today. After speaking with a local surf instructor at Lofoten Beach Camp, he said the best time to surf is in November through March, but the swell begins to pick up in September. The summer months usually have the most consistent weather, which also means there's lack of swell and waves. But year-round, you will definitely still need a 5 or 6 millimeter wetsuit, hoodie, and gloves to stay warm.
Well, unfortunately, we arrived at the beach that Helen wanted to surf at, and there aren't any waves right now. So we'll have to figure out our next steps. We're really curious how cold this Arctic water is, so let's go find out.
So we just felt the water temperature, and it actually feels a lot like home in the Pacific Northwest. These guys just did a polar plunge, more power to them. It's very refreshing water. I'm actually surprised in the Arctic Circle it's not as cold, maybe because we're kind of in the same latitude as Canada. The water is very clear and pure here. And I might just take a chance and just go paddle out anyways, because how often do you get out in the Arctic Circle and get on a surfboard? We are going to go for a polar plunge instead, because if you're in the Arctic Circle, you have to get in the water. And we did see plenty of people jump in naked and also just going in for a polar plunge this morning. So we're going to do the same. Would you jump in the Arctic Ocean? Let us know in the comments. I would say the polar plunge was a success.
It was cold. It felt like back home, like kind of what we expected. The PNW water in Oregon is very cold, just like this.
When after you get through the initial shock of your body not feeling anything, swimming in the Arctic Circle isn't as bad if there's sunshine out. We were in there for what, like at least 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Surprisingly. There's actually other amenities you can check out here as well. There is kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding. They also have a sauna on site, plenty of camping, a lot of RV and camper van space. You really can't go wrong, especially camping in Lofoten, because it seems like everywhere you go is absolutely stunning. We decided we're going to pick up a rental car instead of take the bus, because the bus is very inconsistent in schedule. You take the 742 bus.
On weekdays, the bus schedule seems to run about every 3 hours. But on weekends, there's only like 2 buses a day. One in the like late morning around 11 o'clock or so, and then something, no, it was like 8 p.m.
Between the hotel and between the rental car, we're paying about $260 per day, and that's not even include food and groceries.
We're only here for a few days, and we need the flexibility,
Yep.
So I think it's worth it. The life. It's the life with my PB&J sandwich.
Hey, you gotta save some money somewhere. We just picked up the rental car, so we rented from Sixt. We picked up a RAV4, which is a little over $360 on a rental car, which means we can make stops like this, going to Lofoten Seaweed, because our host at Planet Lofoten told us that the seaweed products, my hair is in my face, told us that the seaweed products are really good and they're harvested locally here around the archipelago island. So let's go check it out.
You can also fry it in a pan or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Wait,
It's
that's
ocean bacon.
the dole.
The dolls. So the Vikings, they used to eat this as a beer snack.
Really?
Don't you want a beer right now?
I do.
Tim wants a beer.
I
Always.
do.
He always wants a beer. We are so happy we stopped here, and our first stop with our rental car is a success so far. We got furikake, which is like a Japanese seasoning, and this is like a Norwegian style. And then we got barbecue and meat seasoning. It's essentially like a dry rub where you can put it in vegetables. And then we also got trail snacks. We picked up seaweed for some treats while hiking the next couple of days, and it's really tasty. It has like this umami. It's a little bit more earthy, fresh picked from the seas here in Lofoten. Just actually learned, instead of saying Lofoten, very American of us to say, it's Lofoten if you want to say it the correct way. So going to be correcting that as we go throughout the video. I'll try my best. In this archipelago located in the far north of Nordland County, the Lofoten Islands holds history dating back thousands of years to the Viking Age, which played significant and important roles in fishing for the Norwegian Arctic cod, or skrei. The archipelago holds nutrient-rich sea waters where you can find fish species ranging from cod, salmon, halibut, herring, and even trout.
We're at Anitas Seafood here in Lofoten, and it is rated very highly. I got the fish burger, the Winnie the Pooh fish burger that has salmon and shrimp and a fish cake burger, and Helen got the fish soup.
Does it taste fresh?
Very fresh seafood, really well cooked. It's great.
Whitefish is really popular around here. Actually, it's called monkfish. It's a type of whitefish. and it seems to be in all the different suits as we had earlier in Bodø earlier this week before we came out to Lofoten. And oh my goodness, let's try this out. There's shrimp in here, fish. I even see salmon. Tim might need to try this first actually before I dig in. Do you want to? I wish you got a spoon. Tim, here.
Yeah, those look good.
Try it first. Should we have gotten an extra bowl?
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. Creamy, a balance of a lot of seafood, salmon, shrimp. Highly recommend coming to Anitas if you're in this area. We've heard about it from everybody we've talked to. So the reason why Norway has some of the freshest seafood is because it is the longest coastline in all of Europe. And you can imagine that all of these different boats just go right off into these docks to get their fresh fish. And so we've heard that some of the freshest seafood comes from this area. And you can imagine that they don't need to import any of the seafood because everything can be found here.
It's always the best whenever you find a lodging place where you can just walk out the door right onto the trails. It's so convenient.
So we're heading.
And will you meet me there tomorrow where the sunlight never sets?
The hiking in Norway is absolutely first class. There's not a lot of places that take my breath away, but Lofoten has really blown our minds. If you ever have a chance to get up into northern Norway, into the Lofoten archipelago, it is 100% worth it. It is probably now moved to one of the top places in the world, on my favorite list.
On our way up to the peak, Munken Peak, we noticed this kind of art installation. It's really neat. It's a solid granite sphere that someone placed up here. I mean, it's
so strange.
yeah, it's pretty neat though, huh? I mean, it blends in really nicely, and I don't know, there's no plate around it that says anything, so.
The views are insane up here. You can see all the different jagged peaks and the mountain chains out all the way in the distance, and this chain of different islands in Lofoten, everything's just very defined out here and has a lot of character, and yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. What a gorgeous day. Lofoten has endless trails with rugged mountains. The best time to visit Lofoten for hiking is between the months of July and September when the trails are snow-free and the daylight is long.
You can catch me in the morning, staring at your face. And there is nothing in the world that could ever take your place.
Today we successfully summited Munken Peak, and we are just about back to our start of the trail. The stats overall for the trail, it was 8.5 miles. It was totally worth it. The views, 360-degree views, alpine lakes, the coastline, spires, jagged peaks, granite. It was awesome.
Do you think it's Munken or something?
Munken. This Munken Peak. Let us know in the comments below.
So we are going to go chase the northern lights today. Apparently last week some people had seen it in this area, and I use an app called Aurora, or you can also use a website called, I believe it's called, let me just double check, Norway Lights, to look at where the best place to view the northern lights are in the Lofoten area. They do make some recommendations on there, but the Aurora app I found, not sure so much if it's accurate, but it does have a function where users can report where the sightings are, and also people can upload pictures of recent northern lights. The northern lights in Lofoten can be seen at the end of August to mid-April. We were in Lofoten at the end of August, so we considered ourselves lucky to have caught them at all, but due to Lofoten's position in the northern latitude, the sun remains completely below the horizon, creating dark skies for optimal northern lights viewing, and especially during the 5 weeks in midwinter. Check out more info in the links in our YouTube description to help in your Lofoten travel planning. The map. That's where we're at now. The green indicates that you're in an area that potentially you could see the northern lights. So as you zoom out, that is where we're at. You can see they have live webcams, and it looks like Sweden sees it right now. I'm so jealous. See, the sky does not have to be completely dark for you to see the aurora borealis. It's in Tromsø. It's in the north right now.
Oh yeah, Tromsø is further
Yeah.
north.
Oh my gosh. See, we have a possibility tonight if we wait it out maybe a little bit. It's hard to see me right now, but we found the northern lights. We found them. Yeah, the app works.
It's over.
Oh my god, I see it in my camera. Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh my god. Good morning. So we are in Reine. We are hiking the most popular, famous Reinebringen. It essentially gives you a beautiful view of Reine, the fishing town here, which is known for its picturesque views of the fishing village as well as panoramic cliff views. But a little bit about this hike, it's only around like a 3.5 mile hike, around 15 to 1700 feet of gain, and famous for its steps built by Sherpas. Quite a few years ago, they actually ended up building in steps because there was erosion happening on the trail. So getting a little later start than we thought we were going to, and there are a lot of people already making their way to the trail and even finishing the trail. So a sunrise hike is a good idea to beat the crowds and for better lighting as well. Very nice steps. Thank you, Sherpas, for building these steps.
Tune in and break away. Forget our fear of what comes after. We'll hold on for better days.
So right when we got up here, we got fogged in. It seems the warm temperatures and the cooling effects of the ocean, you're definitely going to get some fog. It looks like it's moving in and out pretty quickly, and the Reinebringen hike is definitely worth it. We thought it was going to be too busy, but if you get up here before 9 a.m. and it's a Sunday, there isn't that many people. There's plenty of room to spread out here on the ridge line. You just have to make sure to get your camera ready, because if there's a foggy or cloudy day, the view can come in and out pretty quickly. So yeah, I would say this hike is definitely a 10 out of 10. It's more of like a climbing a Stairmasters up. So if you want a free gym workout, this is your place to come.
So it took us about an hour to get to the top of Reinebringen, and it was about 1.3 miles just one way to the top. I bet it's like 1,000 stairs.
It's like Machu Picchu all over.
Yeah, it's like Machu Picchu, but like with nicer stairs, with deeper stairs. They're more up to code.
Well, they weren't built during the Incan period.
Yeah, exactly. I told you there was a lot of stairs. 1,566.
You're close. So we're about to go on a kayaking tour here in Reine, and kind of windy today, so we might have to be battling the current and the wind just a little bit, but it's still not too bad. I think it's about 12 kilometers per hour in terms of wind. Seems like we're gonna have to, actually it looks like it's gonna push us on the way in, and then we're gonna have to fight it on the way out. But unless the wind changes direction, then we'll be fine. But we booked with Reine paddling, I think, and it was about $127 USD per person. So not the cheapest, but if you're going to be out here once, you might as well do it, right? But we're going in double kayaks, so Tim and I will be co-piloting.
This protects the water, that the water doesn't come in. It has a pocket here.
What are you putting on?
Putting on a spray skirt so that keeps your lower body dry. Did you buckle it? There's a buckle in there.
Yeah.
Just check your partner.
Unzip it and it's easier to... Ready to go.
The guide said it was fairly windy today, so
There's definitely a breeze.
might have to struggle a little bit more, but this is kind of the threshold that they bring people out when there's like 12 knots of wind, so I guess we in a way are kind of lucky that we get to even go out today.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes my hat, almost.
We sit with bended legs, slightly bended open, and then for our feet we have a support of the foot pedals. This is a foot pedal from the front.
Nice job.
Feel some salsa. Nice.
Enjoying it? So now we're deciding if we're going to go out into open water or not. Check out how clear this water is. So our guide said that the bottom of the seafloor is made of like crushed shells and sand, and that's why it's so clear. Look at that.
And this seaweed I can present you as we have a calm moment. That one, it's called a truffle seaweed.
Ooh. Again, not helping.
Not paddling.
So our guide had mentioned to us at our last stop that the reason why some of the houses, or most of the houses, are painted the way they are, but back in the days they used to use whale oil, and the red houses were much cheaper to paint because of the pigment red that you purchase. So I thought that was interesting, and that's why they ended up painting the houses. They had, it's common for houses to be white, yellow, and red out here. Highly recommend
Look at
this.
these waters, these like turquoise waters.
Just get so close to the cliffs.
Oh my gosh. There's jellyfish.
So our guide called this passageway Narnia. Wow. And we're back. We have barely scratched the surface in exploring Lofoten, and Norway is an expensive country to visit, so we stayed only 2.5 weeks, but we know we'll definitely return someday to country number 8 in our full-time travel journey. We hope this video has inspired you to add Norway to your travel list. Don't forget to check out our Campervan Norway video and other helpful travel planning links in the YouTube description. So Unstad Beach is one of the most popular surf beaches in all of Norway, especially in the Lofoten area, but unfortunately we are strike out 2 for 2 with no surf on our trip. It's been pretty flat around here, so we're just gonna have to take it as it is and make a trip out here next time. But the surf is supposed to pick up later on the week, and it gets really good in the fall and the winter, especially since the swells come in a little bit more. But in the summertime, it's just a little smaller, and you'll just have to enjoy the hiking and the scenery a bit more than the surf. You know, they're peeling. Might be a little small. I'm gonna take kind of a fun size board out and you have a chance to come out and surf in Norway, you should definitely do it. Definitely a once in a lifetime experience. This might be my first time wearing like a 6mm wetsuit. It's pretty big. So it's not often that you get the surf break all to yourself. I am taking advantage. They are about to have a surf lesson out here, so I'm going to get in before the class gets out. Surf was semi-successful. Got in the water. There were some waves. It got windier. Swell was kind of small. I think it was about 1 to 2 feet. Periods of 2 to 3 when I first got out, but should have gone out earlier because it was much better without all the crosswinds. Should have just gone out when there was offshore winds. I got to get out in the Arctic Circle, and if you are in the Lofoten area, make sure you check out Unstad for the really beautiful, more secluded beach away from, it's kind of more off the beaten path and one of the most popular surf spots in Lofoten. And if you want something that's a bit more accessible in both places, you can actually take the bus too, but the one here at Lofoten Beach Camp was decent. You know, the rentals were cheaper, and also it was just easier to get to, not as far from where we were staying in the Sorvrugen area. I don't know, Sorvagen. Not sure how to pronounce that, but renting a surfboard is quite expensive out here. You're gonna expect to pay around 300 to 400 krone for the wetsuit, and then between 400 to 600 to rent a surfboard, depending on if it's a foam board or a hard top. So something to consider. You're all in going to be paying about $70 USD to $100, and then if you get a lesson, it's even closer to $180 to $200 a lesson. So, but the cool thing is you get to surf in the Arctic. Not a lot of people get to do that. Check it out. Check out our Instagram for real-time travel updates. Sign up for our newsletter for our exciting new Patreon community page launch, which we'll host on how to earn credit card points and miles, and monthly virtual meetups on financial independence, hiking, and more. Support this channel by hitting the like button and subscribing, and thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next trail. For the next 4 weeks, we'll be heading to Europe, visiting places like Switzerland, Italy, France, and more. Stay tuned.